Russo-Italiano sponsors Boxing Bros UK.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
This is Boxing Bros UK. I've changed my name. My name is now Hiss the Boss, Chris.
Oh, yes. I like it.
And then we've got Andrew the Boxing Brain. I thought I'll have a cool nickname as well. Why not?
Got to,
copied that off Boxing Bros USA. Yeah.
Got to be done.
We got it. Got to do it. Shout out to Boxing Bros USA. We kind of stole the nickname from and our brand name from you guys, but love your channel, good guys. And today's topic is
Hands fresh. What are you talking about? You got to when the bell. Hey, get it, baby. Push it. Yo ando solo, ¿viste? No vas a faltar ahí, ando solo, maricón. Yo ando solo.
Te la pela, Junior. Está pendejo.
Yo ando solo.
Está pendejo, te la pela.
Yo ando solo, papi, yo ando solo. No vas a faltar ahí, yo ando solo. En California no lo hiciste.
So today's topic is BENAVIDEZ versus Morrell. And it was all going off like, I love that shit. Bit of WWE stuff, bit of excitement. Gets you gassed up for the fight. What can we say? They were both at super middleweight, like you said off screen before, Andrew. Morrell only had the regular title.
Yeah,
is that right? And we all know BENAVIDEZ had the WBC.
Yeah, WBA regular title for Morrell, I think, at super mid, and obviously and they've both gone up in their respective governing bodies into the light heavyweight division, and have been aligned to fight at light heavyweight in only their second, but it's only both their second fights at light heavyweight, and I'm sure we'll get into it. Both didn't look great in their first fights at light heavy either, so there is some question marks over them. So this will be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I think they were both in the super middleweight. Morrell, the thing is, right, I just want to have a little quick rant about this. So, Canelo didn't want to fight BENAVIDEZ, yeah? But one problem I have with that is BENAVIDEZ was mandatory. Make that fucker vacate his belt and take the belt. You can't be mandatory for a title. Say you want the fight, and then because he won't make a side deal with you and PBC, because he's getting in bed with Turkey Al Sheikh, we all seen it. He and he's David BENAVIDEZ, great fighter as he is loyal to PBC. He didn't take the Canelo fight when it would have been good, when it would have gone to purse bids and he would have had to vacate the title. And you moved up to light heavyweight and fought Galaski or Goff or whoever the fuck he's called. So you can't want the fight that much. And Canelo, yeah, he's ducking, but call his bluff. You're mandatory. You didn't force the purse bid. He got to keep the belt. And the other geezer, Morrell, when you're the regular WBA champion, you have the right to challenge for the WBA super belt. The mandatory guy can take it, or you can, because you're the regular champ. So, and he didn't force that. He moved up. So that tells me he didn't want that Canelo smoke, and he just thought it'd be better acclimatized at light heavyweight. Or 10 fights in, is he ready for Canelo? Probably not. So, and Canelo would have fought. I reckon he would have fought him. Because that's his style now. He's a king of mandatories if they're easy. All he believes are easy.
I remember when BENAVIDEZ fought Durrell, didn't he? And he had the WBC was vacant then. And I'm trying to, this way it gets confusing because I think maybe Canelo, did he vacate then as well? Had he vacated that at the time? Because I'm sure
no, he weren't. he wasn't champion. What happened was, not 100% sure on it, but David Benavidez, he got stripped because he got caught taking cocaine out of camp.
That's right.
Then he worked his way back up again for the fight. I don't know if it was the Morrell fight or not, and he didn't make weight, so he lost his belt again on the scales. I think he won it. Right. I think he beat Morrell, and then the next fight he didn't make weight, lost his belt on the scales, and then Canelo just cleaned up. Oh no, they put it in the tournament, the Super 6 tournament, and Callum Smith won it. That was it.
Yeah, and then obviously, and then Canelo came back and reclaimed them, didn't he? And then obviously went up to light heavyweight, beat Kovalev, obviously come back down to super mid as well. Tried again with Bivol. But this is what I mean about Benavidez. He has got a bit of a shaky past, and he is very well known, Chris, as being a bit of a weight bully. He has, I mean, they call him the monster, but he at super middleweight he might be a monster. And I think he in the amateur game he fought like all the way up to super heavy at one stage as well, because this is the thing with him, isn't it? Like, with the WBC, he's going to get that chance to rehydrate. You know, this could be interesting. They both could come in about like cruiserweight on February the 1st when they walk into the ring, because there's not going to be any £10 IBF limits, Chris. So it'll be interesting to see. Because against them, I always struggle to pronounce his name. That Gvozdzic, Benavidez. He fought that heavyweight at some point in his amateur career as well, and you could, I don't know, these are the question marks after the first fights at light heavy is, are they both going to have the power at this weight, and how much do we kind of judge those two lukewarm performances? Are they going to have the power against the big hitters? I mean, obviously, you know, Bivol and Beterbiev aren't going to be around forever, but it will be interesting, won't it? It will be interesting, Chris. I think Benavidez will, as he kind of settles into the weight. Morrell, I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. We'll find out on Saturday, I think, a little bit more.
Well, sorry about that, technical difficulties. So the breakdown of the fight, like you say, they're both moving up from super middle to light heavyweight. Both in their last fights, they both didn't look great. I'm going to cut them both a little bit of slack. I'd say Benavidez, he hadn't fought for 10 months, nearly a year, and he was fighting at a new weight. So you can kind of give him a pass for that one. And
you know what, it was great when Chris, he fought at 168, but before that, so I mean, that was quite a while ago, wasn't it? Demetrius Andrade.
Exactly.
That was
ages ago. And then the thing is, you've got what was I going to say? So yeah, but when I watched the fight the other day, he was very. Am I in slow? Is it echoey or something, or is it all good?
No, it's all fine, mate.
Yeah. So when I watched the fight the other day, he didn't look the greatest, but he just looked like what he always does. I made a few notes. So, like what Benavidez does, yeah, he's got size and reach and height over his opponents normally, but he like later on in the fight, he likes walking people down, and he likes throwing them big heavy hooks to the body, and his defense is terrible. Like what he does is he stands there, peekaboo guard, like a high guard, no head movement, no footwork, practically square on. He waits for you to finish hitting him, lets people tee off on him, on the arms though, and in the body, and he might move around a little bit, and then he has his turn and unloads, and he normally outworks people. Like you go, I go, you go, I go, until he just goes through him, or he gets the best of the exchange. He's just a fighter. That's why I like him. He's always exciting. He loves to fight. And yeah, he didn't look the greatest, but his power's not probably carried up. But he still did his thing. He still stood there, had a tear up, and won a tear up. He just likes to go to war. But I will say, I wouldn't do that against this kid, because I watched his last fight. Yeah, it wasn't the best, but he fought a good opponent. Don't forget, that guy was on like a 3 or 4 fight winning streak, and he just knocked Sullivan Barrera out, old, who's a very well, I know he's at the end of his career, but he's still a well-established light heavyweight who's good, beat good names, been up there as a champion.
Yeah.
And so I think at light heavyweight, his resume is better than Benavidez. I know they've only had 1 fight each, but Benavidez has got the better overall experience. So, and this kid, he's got quick hands, quick feet, very good defense. He's good at tucking up and reacting and stuff like that. And he's a good little fighter. He hasn't got much power though. He hasn't got much power that I've seen in that last fight. Like, he just seems a bit of a Ben Whittaker, but he's not gassing. Like, fast hands, fast feet, landing good, but he hasn't got the power. He's got a good chin on him as well. He's seen him take some shots off that guy. Took them well. So the only thing is, he pots shots. He's a counter puncher, so he likes to like fight on the back foot and counter punch. And when he's going forward, he don't really let his hands go. He'll throw. He doesn't like throwing punches in bunches. He throw like a 1-2. That's it. 1-2 pot shot. Wait for you to come back. Then counter punch. Like, he's just more of a counter puncher. And I just think that's going to be, if he does that and lets Benavidez unload, that's a nightmare. That's not going to be a good plan, man. You can't like just tuck up, got a better, because he will try and run over you and run through you. So yeah, what's your thoughts on it, man? Who do you think's going to win? So Andrew, how do you think the fight's going to play out? And give me your prediction. No sitting on the fence. No splinters in the arse.
No splinters in the arse. No liberal Democrat stuff going on here. I've ebbed and flowed with this one. It's difficult to. I think where I'm going with this is, I think Benavidez is going to acclimatise to light heavyweight better than David Morrell. His defence is a bit leaky, as you say. Dave Morrell, the hand speed's there. They've got kind of different abilities, that's for sure. Definitely got different skills. Should the stylistically, it should make for a good fight. I just think David Benavidez just might kind of grind Morrell down. I think he might grind. I'm not sure if Morrell's. What I'm trying to get at here. I haven't seen enough of, obviously both of them are light heavyweight. I haven't seen enough of Morrell at light heavyweight to know if he's got enough in his shots up at 175 that could seriously trouble Benavidez. And I think based on that, I think Benavidez might get to him. I think Morrell might slow down. So I'm kind of leaning towards a late stoppage for Benavidez. That's where I'm going. What about you? Any different?
I totally agree with you, to be honest. I think their styles will hopefully gel, because I think you got one guy that loves stalking people, walking people down and taking the fight to them in Benavidez. He always starts off looking good, like lateral movement, throwing combinations. Well, then that might prove a little bit difficult at first, but then later on, when he gets tired, he kind of just walks forward like this, lets you get off on him, and then he lands his shots. Like, he takes shots on the gloves so that he can land his offense and try and overwhelm. So that could work, or it could go against him, because Morrell is a very good counter puncher and he's got quick feet, fast hands. And so I'm going to go with Benavidez for my prediction, though. I just think too experienced. He's been in there with too many big names, too much experience. And from both their last fights on the eye test, it tells me that Benavidez has carried more of his power up to light heavy than Morrell definitely has. So I'm going to go with Benavidez.
Just quickly on that, with Benavidez's last opponent, and people are slagging him off a bit. That guy, was no mug. I mean, I think if he was Benavidez's age, he might have troubled him more. I think there was a little bit of a cherry picked on wrong, but Gavodzic he took Beterbiev 10 rounds. So, you know, he's no mug. He was no mug, that guy. And I think people, even I was a bit too quick to judge on Benavidez's first fight at light heavy. So this will tell us more. But yeah, we're both in agreement. Benavidez gets the job done. Just
you're saying
maybe,
late stoppage. I think Morrell, he takes a good shot. If you took a few, I think, and he's got a good defense. I'm going Benavidez points win. And like you said, we haven't seen enough of Morrell. So we want to see if he's got that dog in him. And if he has, let's see him fighting some of the zone heavyweight, light heavyweights. But yeah, that's the prediction. One thing I'd like to say about that Galaffi fight or whatever it was, like, because he was old. Yeah, Glasking off. Because he was old, people are always quick to criticise. Age ain't nothing but a number sometimes. I know in boxing we always say father time ain't no man, but it depends on the fighter. So like Luis Ortiz, yeah, he's 45. He's been inactive. He's looked shit in all his last fights, yeah. So I would say no. Erislandy Lara, 45. I give him a chance against anyone because he lives the life and he only fights once a year. He's not active, but he lives the life and he puts everything into them fights every year. He doesn't stay busy fights. He's been a world champion at light middle after he lost to Canelo and then moved up and done it at middleweight and hasn't lost since he lost to Canelo. So, and even Chisora, you know, he's good. So you can't, it depends on the person and how they are handling their age. Like Chisora, I'd put him against loads of heavyweights younger than him. And I wouldn't say he's going to lose because he's old. It just depends on the person. We're too quick to criticize sometimes just because they're fighting someone old because it depends on the person. But that's my little rant. And that's it from us. Like and subscribe. Boxing Bros UK. Okay.
Ta.